everybody? Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today I'm going to break down tonight's ESPN boxing main event, which is a lightweight unification bout between Vasyl Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. This one has all of the major sanctioning body belts on the line, and it's basically for all the marbles at 135. This is a fight and a situation that we haven't had in this division in a very long time, which makes this not only intriguing because of the fighters, but because of the situation. So we've got one of the top pound-for-pound fighters taking on a young, hungry lion. We've got skill versus power and skill. We've got a lot of things playing into this fight that makes it very exciting to the hardcore and the casual fan. So let's get into it. I know you're going to like what we're going to talk about and the tactics that we're going to discuss. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you can catch the recap when we talk about what we thought happened versus what actually happened, and contrast between the two. So like I said, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. So the challenger, well, the lesser title claimant, I guess I could say Teofimo Lopez, who has the IBF title, the young, hungry lion that has been calling out Lomachenko for the last 2 years maybe, is finally getting his chance. And in Lopez, we have a very crisp, very fast, very powerful, and also very big lightweight who has been starching guys and starching some very good competition at that. Richard Comey is nothing to put down. Title holder, very good fighter himself. Lopez went through him. So with Lopez, like I said, we've got a guy who is very powerful, but he also has very good technique to go along with that power. His hook is very quick, it's very sound, and it packs a lot of power. As I said, that right hand, he can throw it straight, he can loop it, he can throw it to the body, and the same thing with his left hook. He can place his shots anywhere. He has an excellent catch and right uppercut that he throws from the shoulder roll, and his shoulder roll is not as pronounced as, say, like a Mayweather, but he does utilize it, and he utilizes it well, especially with that catch uppercut. He can also catch people with check hooks, and his footwork is nothing to sneeze at either. So we have a guy who has all of the intangibles, but does he have those? Well, I should say he has the tangibles, because those are things you can see. The intangibles would be like the experience, the poise, and the heart to take on the reigning king and arguably a pound-for-pound #1 guy in Vasyl Lomachenko. A lot of people say Crawford, a lot of people say Lomachenko. It really depends on what you prefer in a fighter. And that's not what we're talking about in this video. Right now, we're just talking about Lopez versus Lomachenko. And in Lomachenko, we have a southpaw who we all know has that extensive amateur background. On the super fast track, as far as titles, they had him in a title fight in his second sanctioned professional fight. He won it in, I think, his third fight. And he became the fastest person when he knocked out Jorge Linares to become a 3-division champ. That's nothing to sneeze at. Also, we have a guy who has decent power. He's not going to sleep you on one punch like Lopez will, but he has excellent angle ability. He has very good hand speed. He puts his punches together well, and his head movement, foot speed, all excellent. He checks all the boxes. If he was like a Madden character, all his stuff would be in the high 90s. And for him to do this against much larger opponents is also one of the factors of this fight, because he's not a natural 135-pound fighter. He started off, I think, at like 122, has moved up to 135, and people really think that's not big of a deal because they see someone like Manny Pacquiao do all that and more. But when you're in the sport, you know how big of a deal that is to move up that many weight classes. And even though it doesn't seem like a lot of weight on the number wise, like I said, if you have fought before, if you are familiar with the sport, you know that is a big difference. And you know that what he is doing is an incredible feat. So let's talk about how these guys' skills are going to match up to each other. Now, Lomachenko really likes to step around people. He uses what we talk about whenever you talk about fighting the southpaw or orthodox fighter, which is getting your foot on the outside of that opponent's lead foot. He does this excellently, and that's what he uses to create those angles and spin off of his opponent. So he'll usually step out to his right and pivot around and usually can lead that person into punches. Now, when you think about someone like in his fight with Linares, for example, Linares had it scouted, and he was able to occasionally throw a left hook off of that pivot, or sometimes turn it and immediately throw his right hand, which is something that Lomachenko is aiming to do, but from the southpaw stance. So he looks to come around, throw that right hook, or come around and shoot the left hand straight on. So what Lopez has to do is to take that page from the Linares handbook and just adjust it slightly. Because, like I said, Linares had success with it, but he lost the fight, so not enough success. So what Lopez has to do is make sure that that Lomachenko does not get that foot outside of him. So he has to continue to step maybe a little bit wider to his left. That way Lomachenko does not take that outside foot, being a southpaw, and pivot around him. If he does, Lopez will need to step and turn and hook. And not hook at the head. He needs to hook low, because sometimes Lomachenko will duck as he pivots. So when he does that, if Lopez can just step and throw that hook low, he can catch him on that pivot. And Linares is another guy who came up from those lighter weights. Still a very good puncher, but he's not the puncher at 135 that Lopez is. So if Lomachenko is not expecting that hook when he makes that pivot, he can be hurt badly. Lopez follows with the right, he may be able to drop him. Now, Linares was able to drop Lomachenko with the right hand, what they call the southpaw killer, because Lomachenko walked straight to him. And that's not something he does often. So Lopez will need to feint him and make him lead, because at that point, Lomachenko was being the leader rather than the person who is being a counter puncher, which he likes to do. He likes to counter his fighters by using his movement. I should switch over to southpaw because he is a southpaw. He uses his head movement. He does a lot of ducks. He uses his feints. So Lopez will need to use his feints to make Lomachenko bite on something and then fire the right hand. That way he'll have success. If he just fires it, now he can't have success because I think his hands are a little bit faster than Lomachenko's. Lomachenko has very fast hands, but from what I've seen of Lopez, especially from that check hook, his hands are lightning quick. And that's something that he doesn't get a lot of credit for because of the power that he has, but his delivery of that power is extremely fast. So Lomachenko really just has to be himself. Not get caught too often. Continue to use that head movement. Use that body movement. Use those level changes. Throw his combinations all over Lopez and cruise to a decision. Because really, I don't see Lopez outpointing Lomachenko. And with Lomachenko's experience, he's fought much higher level competition at a much longer rate. Even though both of these guys are like between 12 and 15 pro fights, the level of competition that Lomachenko's been fighting has been much higher than the level of competition that Lopez has been fighting, even though Lopez has recently started to step up his competition. That doesn't mean that he can't win. That just means that I'm not seeing it likely that he will. Now, if he does, I'd be pleasantly surprised. I would congratulate this guy, but they have to fight the fight. As of right now, I'm going with Lomachenko. I believe one of those reasons why is because while Teofimo does utilize a shoulder roll stance, and he does have good foot movement, he does move his head also, but he's still very easy to hit. And much slower guys like Diego Magdaleno and Richard Comey were able to land on him. I can't remember the Japanese fighter's name that he went 12 rounds with, but that gentleman as well was able to land punches on Lopez. So I don't see Lomachenko having any trouble landing on Lopez and landing often. So he may start stringing off combos on him and getting out, and then it's beginning to frustrate Lopez to where he begins to rush punches and then, comes out of his game plan. I don't see Lomachenko stopping him, but if he does, he has to get a lot of credit for that. Because a 23-year-old kid who believes all of the world of himself and has a corner that believes all of the world of himself is not going to give up. So he's going to have to put him down and keep him down in order for that to happen. Or beat him so bad that the love and family element from Teofimo Sr. decides that he doesn't want to see his son go through that anymore and stop the fight. Either way, that's going to be a highly impressive feat to accomplish if he does. So I'm going with Lomachenko in probably an 8-4, 9-3 type decision. It's going to look very good, and be it on ESPN, he's probably going to get credit for a lot more things than Lopez will, unless it is super obvious. That was something I noticed, like watching the Linares fight and a couple other Lomachenko fights where, you see the other guy doing things, but they're so busy enamored with Lomachenko and just talking about side things about Lomachenko that they don't notice that he just got hit, or they just didn't notice that that person actually, blocked his punch or slipped his punch. But that's not to say that he's not an incredible fighter. That's just to say if you listen to the commentators, you might miss some incredible things that the other fighter is doing as well. So you want to, take in the entirety of the combat that's going on and enjoy what's going on with both guys. And if Lomachenko completely shuts him down, which is highly possible, which is, like I said, I'm thinking he's going to get very close to doing so, is a feat that needs to be congratulated if it happens. So let me know what you guys think. This one right here, Rob and I talked for a couple days about this fight because we were going back and forth. And originally, I didn't think Lopez had a chance at all until I started watching a little bit more of his fights. And I started watching a little bit more of Lomachenko's fights with a little bit closer eye. I was like, okay, the kid's got a little bit more of a chance than most of the public is giving him. But I still think Lomachenko's going to pull it out. Like I said, hit us up in the comment section and let us know what you think. If you think it's going to be a stoppage, what round, how it happens. If you think it's going to be a decision, how do you think the score is going to play out? Let's just shoot some ideas out there. We love to rap with each other in the comment section. we like to, you know, we, as you see in this video, we are respectful to the fighters, and we expect you to be the same. Don't come in there talking about either fighter's a bum or overrated or overhyped. We don't talk that nonsense around here. So if you are going to do that, you can comment, but we are going to check you. So like I said, I'm sure you enjoyed what you heard in this video. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can get the notification of the recap, as well as the other content that Rob and I put out. And you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Capital Combat. And we'll see you in the next video. Till then, fight on.
It's round one and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.